Hello, how's everyone going? Welcome to my live. Anyone's coming in? I don't know if anyone's here yet. No, obviously not. Oh, hello, that one person. He's in my live. I hope you're well. That was an absolute disaster class yesterday from Spurs. Being 4-0 down after 20 odd minutes, early 20 minutes, and end up, Kinsky, I feel sorry for the lad, but come on. What the hell was Tudor doing putting him in a game like that magnitude? Absolute disaster that was. You got to feel for him, but you just with Tudor, you just don't see a connection with any of the players. Let me a second. Hi, Guy. You all right? I'll put the link in the private chat if you like. Bear me a second. There we go. See you there now, mate. Hello, everyone who's joining. Hope you're well. Just bringing someone in and then we'll get talking about Spurs. Drop a comment if you like and let me know if you're Spurs fans. If not, who you do support. And I'll read out your messages. But yeah, yesterday was an absolute disgrace from Spurs, from Tudor really got his tactics wrong. Some of the players that he played, I don't understand, out of position. He doesn't have a clue. He needs to go. I'm very surprised he's still at the club. But bear me a second. Drop in comments below if you have something to say about yesterday's performance. I'm trying to get someone in, so bear with me a second. I'm trying to post a link here. I'm going to post a link in the comments. If anyone wants to come on, they're more than welcome to. Yesterday. Why would you leave Gallagher on the bench? He hasn't been great for Spurs, but we still need his energy. Tudor put Sarr and Gray in midfield, and it clearly didn't work. So it clearly didn't work. Hi, mate. You all right? Hi, mate. I think we're going down. Bucky's saying Deitch is now. To be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Sean Deitch, but I actually think he would be the manager we need in the situation we're in. We need a manager like that. Just someone to keep us in the league. And we're clearly, we're desperate times at the moment. So Sean Deitch is definitely one that we definitely need. And I'll get Guy in 1 second. Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I got my 1940s, 1950s replica away top on. You got to have it came today, so you got to look for the little things in life, don't you?
So, have you recovered from yesterday?
Yeah, I got an eye test, so I was able to leave the house this morning. But yeah, I'll let you do your little introduction on your thoughts on the game, because I could not go on any streams. I couldn't even do videos yesterday, man. I couldn't even do them today. I was so busy.
No, I was just saying about obviously Tudor. I think he got his team selection wrong yesterday. I think playing Sarr and Gray in the midfield was the wrong choice. Two young players in midfield. I think a Polina or Gallagher or someone in the midfield we should have had yesterday. And obviously with the goalkeeper, with Kinsky, we've threw him into deep end and look how that turned out. And then obviously took him off after 18 minutes, which means he might not even play for Spurs again, which was absolutely shocking. And I'm surprised he's still the manager today at Tottenham. What do you think?
Totally agree. That team set up. When I saw the lineup, I was shocked and confused, considering it is a Champions League game, first Champions League game in the knockout phases. Because as we've seen from yesterday's results, and I say this all the time, the league phase and the knockout phases completely different beasts. Completely different beasts. Yeah. You know that I don't think Archie Gray is more than a championship level player, and definitely not a first 11 starter for me. He's just, to me, just doesn't have the chops. And at the end of the day, we know Vicario isn't great. He's not the best in the world, but as you saw from the game itself, which was harrowing to watch, yeah. You had the ability to turn it off. I was in a pub, mate, so they refused to turn it off. We were all like, "No, we don't want to watch this." They were like, "No, we booked in the time, mate. Come on." But no, picking Kinsky. Well, we saw what happened. Which was absolutely shocking. And you're right. I think it is a combination. I think it's a combination of two things: lack of game time, lack of confidence, and lack of ability. You know?
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Do you remember the last time we saw Kinsky in goal? Because I can't remember the game.
I think it was Newcastle away in the Carabao Cup, and he made that mistake when the ball got played in, and Walter headed it in. But the only time I've actually seen Kinsky play well was on his debut. Against
Liverpool.
Yeah, that's the only time I thought he looks pretty decent. But since then, he hasn't. Every time he has played, he's just hasn't looked. Just looked pretty shocking, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: he's not good with his feet, clearly, and there's a couple of. He could have saved a couple of them that just went past him. I don't know, and I think you're right. A lot of people are saying the way Igor Tudor treated him when he was coming off just shows how bad he is, like man management. Just completely ignored him. Now, here's the thing: I know 3 of my friends that went to that game. You know, they spent thousands to see that, man, all the way to Madrid to see that. I was asked to go. I was like, no way, bro. No way!
Apparently, too, they didn't even go over to the fans at the end of the game to acknowledge them, and some of the players didn't either. Which I think, if that's the case, that's an absolute disgrace, to be honest. But the thing with Archie Gray, he tries his hardest, bless him, but he's just not Premier League standard, is he?
No, he's not. By any means of the word, he is not Premier League standard. I talk about Archie Gray as the most frustrating player that I've seen in this starting 11. And I understand injuries, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But when I saw that lineup and we were going with a back 3 again, and I saw no Paulinho, I saw Gallagher on the bench, I saw Richarlison and Kolo Muani. We'll get on to Kolo Muani.
He's an absolute disgrace.
How many times did he kick the ball out of play while trying to make a run?
He's I think with Kolo Muani, he clearly doesn't want to be here. So like the things Richarlison and Solanke get a lot of stick, especially Richarlison. But at least he works hard and he tries his best and stuff. These players do. Muani can tell he don't want to be here. He just doesn't. His all-round attitude is absolutely shocking.
I say that Randall Kolo Muani puts a £100 deposit on the shirt beginning of the game and gets it back at the end of it if he doesn't rip it, mate. That's how you know what I mean. He's literally renting that shirt, and I feel sorry for anyone that bought a shirt with his name on because I wouldn't do that. But yeah, he stinks for us, bro. He's so bad.
But the only times I've seen him do well is in the Champions League, a couple of games. But Isn't it funny? It's been against his former clubs or his parent club PSG and his former club Frankfurt. They're the only times he's scored in the Champions League against them two.
Yeah, yeah. It's shocking, but the setup. I mean, he went into that setup was. As soon as we saw, because we were obviously in the pub and we're doing pub stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as the screen came up, because obviously we're all talking and we're not, you're not looking at lineups when you're having a chat with your mates, right?
Yeah.
So we look at the lineup. As soon as we look at the lineup, we're all just going. We looked at each other and went, "Oh, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Yeah.
We are screwed." And I mean, what was it? Was it 3-0 up in 20 minutes?
I think it's 3-0 up in like 18 minutes or something, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
Or even 15 minutes, I think it was. And then he took Kinsky off after 18 minutes. But I think we're bad in trouble, to be honest. Even if Tudor gets sacked, which I'm surprised he's still in a job. I think we are going down. I can't see us getting out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know about your opinion on it, but
my opinion is away days at the Valley, mate. Away days at the Valley, proper football stadium, proper turnstiles. Carlsberg beer for £3. Let's go.
At least we wouldn't have to put up with any VAR in the Championship, would we?
Exactly. All of those fans that whinge about the PGMOL and VAR's against us. We don't need to have that conversation anymore. We don't need to have it. It's great. No, we are. A lot of people were saying to me, "But you're good in Europe. You're fourth in the we're fourth in the league phase." And I kept saying to people, the league phase is the league phase, man. That is not a barometer because it's a different kind of football, completely different style of football. And I didn't think that we were going to get a result against Atletico Madrid, but my God, I didn't realise we would get completely mullered.
Yeah, would you have taken? Obviously, would you? You'd have taken a 2-0, wouldn't you? Or would you have taken a 3-0 or over 5-2?
No. I mean, at the end of the day, because obviously it's played over two legs, right? If it was a 1-0 loss, I could deal. If it's a 2-0 loss, I can deal. But seeing that scoreline before half time, I was just like, okay, rounds on me, boys. You know what I mean? Let's just like see this game out. And obviously, when we scored, everyone was like saying remontada, and I'm like, I love the hope that you have. I really love the hope because after that Porro goal, we were like, oh, we might be able to get something back from this. No,
that's the thing. I turned off at 2-0 down. I was like, and then I saw it's 3-0. Then I saw it's 4-0. I was like, oh, it's pointless turning back on. Then I saw it's 4-1, and then I was just like, oh, we might do something here, get back into it. So the idiot in me decided to turn it back on, thinking that will be the case. And I always do that, and I know it's not going to happen, but I always do it. I think
you got to believe. You got to believe.
I know. I think fans in general just have a bit of belief, mate. So if it does happen, you don't want to miss it, do you?
Yeah, exactly. You want to be like, oh, I was there on that day, But no, obviously taking Kinsky off was the right move. His confidence was completely shot. As soon as he miskicked, he just went straight on the ground. He didn't even try to save it. He just dropped like a sack of spuds and looks like he was going to cry. So I don't know. Will we see Kinsky again? I don't know, man. That is shocking.
You remember Karius, who played for Liverpool? He made those two mistakes in the Champions League final, and he never played for Liverpool again. So it might not.
Well, hopefully Vicario doesn't get injured. Vicario, don't get injured, because otherwise we might as well put Chirpy in goal. Our mascot. Put Chirpy in goal. Oh, but no.
We've obviously in the summer I think we're gonna have a massive clear out in the summer. Vicario is probably going to go anyway, and I've heard that Kinsky is probably going to go out on loan for the season. But we need a complete new rebuild of the squad, new manager, we need new owners, new manager, the whole setup. Everything needs to change at Spurs, whether in the Championship or in the Premier League. Just everything, just completely rip it all up and start again, because there's clearly something not right at the club.
Yeah, because if we go into the Championship with this mentality, we'll go back. We'll go down to League One. I remember,
Yeah.
because obviously Charlton is my local football team, right? I remember when they got out of the Premiership and they got back into the Championship. All their fans were telling me, "We're coming back up," and they went all the way down to
Yeah.
League One for years. They've only just come back into the Championship again this season after languishing in League One for years. And
Well,
it's like,
they were moaning about Alan Turbishley, weren't they, or something, or something to do with football. It was boring or
yeah.
something. And then he leaves, and then as soon as he leaves, it all go downhill after that.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the rot is from the top. The rot is from the entire ownership all the way down into the dirt on the pitch, man. It is that whole place, that whole club that we've been supporting for a long time and put our time and money in. It's a sinking ship, and this death spiral of the mentality of the players, lack of cohesion, can't even pass, giving the ball away, doing silly mistakes, and it's like, I remember I had this thought during halfway through the season. I was thinking, you could train 5 passes, right? These players should be able to string some
Yeah.
passes together. But we're now with a second manager. How many losses? Is it 4 in a row, wasn't it? It's 4 in a
Yeah,
row.
4 in a row, and they've all pretty much been batterings, haven't they?
Yeah. And we've got Liverpool next, man. We've got Liverpool next.
Do you ever notice when you watch Spurs that if it's a 50-50 ball, we never come out with the ball?
Oh, you mean in aerial duels?
Yeah. Or even if it's on the
100%.
ground, say we're both going for the
Yeah.
same ball,
Yeah.
we never come out of it. The other team always gets it first.
Yeah. Yeah. We never get 50-50 balls. I said this. Oh, my God. Pause on that. But I've noticed whenever like Vicario hoofs the ball up, we never get the first head. We never get the first touchdown. And if we do, it's probably like once or twice in the whole game. And how many times is a pass intercepted by the opposition? But we intercept hardly any. And
Well,
but yeah,
apart from the one last night, obviously the Athletic Madrid one, I didn't even celebrate a goal until the ball went in the back of the net. I was like, because at the time, I wasn't convinced we'd score it.
yeah, you were like, wait, did we score? The
Yeah.
VAR that is it offside? Because I was thinking, oh, it's going to be an offside, isn't it? It's going to be an offside, knowing our luck. But no, I mean, someone asked me to give player ratings on another platform, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending my time. I'm not spending my time thinking about arbitrary numbers to give on these players for that game, because, quite frankly, it was diabolical, absolutely diabolical. And
Yeah.
why were they slipping? Oh,
Apparently, they've had a few issues with that pitch, and I heard on the commentary that Barcelona, they got lost 4-0 there early in the season, and
yeah,
they
the Copa del Rey.
they complained about the pitch. So they've had issues there all season. But Athletic Madrid, they weren't slipping as much. They slipped a couple of times, but not as
Yeah.
much. But they're obviously used to the pitch.
But see, our players are just used to the the pitch perfect, climate controlled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the thing. Like best training ground in Europe, best facilities and stuff for a bod standard team, isn't it? Really?
I don't even. My thoughts have changed on this. I used to have faith in the players that they might be able to pull this off. Right, I actually had faith because my usual standpoint in Spurs is if we are going to put an arbitrary number on them, most of them are fives and sixes, right? So they're either bang average or just above average, and we've got a couple of players that can play to a 7, right? So we've got
Yeah.
5, 6s, and 7s, right? Not much. I wouldn't have said it's a relegation side though, but the thing is, watching him in the last 6 games, even the last couple of Frank games, I'm looking at this game. I've got no hope, bro. I've got no hope, man.
Well, what do you think of what's your take on Van der Ven? Because it's a great player, but we've had our last few years we've had a shot in defence, and him and Romero are part of that.
Yep.
So even though he's a good defender, I'm not convinced he's as good as he thinks he is.
Don't forget, forgot to mention these are international defenders, while one of them won a World Cup. But when it comes to Mickey van der Ven, I think Mickey van der Ven lately is so frustrated. He is so frustrated that he's losing his head. And is he a good defender? I mean, I've seen him be chef's kiss, I've seen him be great, but I've also seen him be utter dog crap. So, do I think that he's a great player? No, not from what I've seen this season. No, from what I've seen last season, even though he was injured a lot last season. I don't think, again, he is very pace reliant, right? He's one of those defenders that relies on pace.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if he didn't have the pace, would he be a good defender?
Oh, hell no.
I would rather. I don't want to say their name on this channel, but Arsenal, I'd rather have Gabriel and Saliba as defenders because I think they're better defenders.
Oh yeah, they're better defenders. They are. Even look, I mean, here's the thing. If you take a look, we'll take one of our greats, right? Ledley King, right? Could not pace for nothing because of his dodgy leg, right?
Yeah.
He pretty much was playing with one knee, but he was defending better than Van der Ven lately. And to me, that is just shocking. That is shocking. To me, it just feels like these players have given up, man. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean?
I think they've actually checked out, to be honest. And that I think it comes across with me that they want to leave, and the only way they'll get the easier way out is for them to leave is if we go down.
Yeah.
We say so.
I said, well, so we have to sell them. We are forced to sell them. We have to have a fire sale, bro. Because even
I've heard Romero's leaving no matter what. I've heard so.
Doesn't surprise me, mate.
But to be honest, even with Romero, I just think he's a bit too unreliable. He's how many times he misses games because of bookings and red cards, and he always gets suspended. And he's won a World Cup, but he's won a World Cup with Messi in the side. And great players around him. So he'd never won the World Cup if he was playing for England or something. So
exactly.
I'm not convinced he's the reason Argentina won the World Cup.
Oh God no. But no, I just think at the end of the day, our defense has been shocking for 3 seasons, hasn't it? It's been absolutely diabolically shocking. And don't get me wrong, Van der Ven's clearance during that Europa final was chef's kiss, because without that, we don't know what would have happened, right? And it has put him down into Spurs legendary status, and that photo does do the rounds. I know people that got that tattooed on them, by the way. The Van der Ven kick. They actually got that tattooed on them. Wow, they are stronger than I am, because I would never get a Tottenham tattoo, bro. No way, no way. But look, our defense has been shocking for ages. I honestly just look at these players and I just don't think. Look, even Porro's been diabolical this season as well.
I know.
You know what I mean?
But I've never been obviously with Porro. In the past, he's attacking player has always been good, but he's another Trent Alexander-Arnold in a way, where attacking was put some brilliant deliveries, but defensively all over the place. And for me, he's not a right back; he's more of a right wing back. But this season, I mean, there's not one of those players that probably comes out and with any grace. I thought Tudor started off the season really well, and but then
he got played into the ground, bro.
Yeah,
he got played into the ground.
There's none of them really that comes out any Even since Frank's gone, a lot of the players have just sort of. It's like they've all given up, really, and yeah, it's a very worrying times at Spurs at the
And they're not
moment.
adapting to the system. They're not adapting to the
No,
system at all. They're not keeping defensive shape. They're not. I don't know. Like I say, because I'm one of these people that looks at like the actual player positions, and like one of the classics of a three at the back going forward, right? So you use the three at the back going forward, and this is what even Arsenal do this with a 4-3-3, right? So they'll do a 4-3-3 attacking, and they'll kind of split off, but defensively they'll go to a 4-4-2. But if you just look, just watch the Spurs players, right? So you can tell Spurs defensive line, they're supposed to pretty much stay in a line, right? So when the ball comes, there's like bodies there. And I kind of broke it down with a mate who's like more of a tactico than I am. And I think, like I say, Van der Ven's frustrated because there was one pass from Atleti that led to a goal, and there was three people just in front of the goal, right? Sorry, just in front of the pass. So you think those three people would intercept the ball when it gets passed? No,
yeah,
it relied on Van der Ven's pace to leg it to the player. Couldn't get there in time. Not defensively capable because all he's thinking about is I've got to get to the ball, and then obviously we concede another goal. It's it's just
What,
shocking, bro. It's
what
just
do you think?
shocking, man.
What do you think of Van der Ven's tackle? A lot of people
Oh,
have
that
heard
should
this.
have been a red, bro.
Do you think? I
That
think he won the ball.
I mean, he won the ball, but the follow through, man, he's very lucky, man. Because here's the thing, I say this all the time: Champions League and European referees,
Yeah,
they're come down a lot more harsher. I was shocked that he didn't get a card for that. I was absolutely shocked. Because here's the thing: it's not even though he got the ball, the intent and the follow through
yeah,
goes out of the window, right? Your intent goes out the window. That's the same thing with Romero. Even though he followed through and he probably didn't mean to, the referee doesn't care about intent. But I just thought that was a reckless tackle, though. That was reckless.
and I've noticed with his tackles, he does slide in with his studs up when he does make challenges. So I'm surprised he's not actually in. You know, collided a few more players, but he done obviously done e-tackling in the Premier League, didn't he? So he's but I've noticed he does slide in like that.
Yeah, he clatters in like a rugby player, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
No, but like looking at our defensive line, so we've covered Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, and now we've got to talk about Jed Spence, bro. We've
I
got
know.
to talk about Jed Spence.
I'm not. He went for a little spell at Spurs where he was doing it, where he was playing really well, doing all right. But he's another one that's just gone off the boil lately.
Do you think that's an attitude thing? Because I think
Yeah,
because you're
I
seeing
think he's
him.
got a bad attitude. Actually,
Yeah.
I've heard stuff in the past that he's got a bad attitude. Um, and the way
Because I've noticed. Because
sorry,
one
carry
thing
on.
is I've noticed. Yeah, what I've noticed is if he tackles someone and he gets called a foul, he goes nuts. He's got
Yeah,
arms in the air. He's like, and you can see what he's saying because he
yeah,
doesn't hide his mouth. He's like, bro, stop swearing, bro. Because if the ref thinks you're swearing at him, he'll just call you over again and just give you a card for it.
yeah. But yeah, he's not. He's just I don't know. It's a bit shocking, really. And there's what do you think of Saar? Like I don't rate him. I just
No, I don't rate
don't
him either.
know what he
No
offers.
way. No, he's a 5 out of 10 player. Bog standard 5 out of 10 player. That's
I
it.
mean, when he first come on the scene, I thought he was going to be the next big thing. They were comparing him to Vieira at one point, but
Oh
this is
no,
he's nowhere near the levels.
nowhere. I mean, he did a good chip. He did a good chip goal against Arsenal in Hong Kong. That was a bit fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, he does progress the ball forward, which is nice. Unlike Bentancur, who
Yeah.
Can't progress the ball forward if his life depended on it. But yeah, Sar's just Sar. I mean, it comes down to this. I mean, if at the end of the day, right? So, let's do a little thought experiment, right? I'm gonna buy you a Spurs shirt, right? As a present, right? I'm gonna buy you a Spurs shirt. Give me a name that you'd put on the back.
That's probably hard to decide. I couldn't even, I couldn't even tell you, to be honest.
See, I ask this question whenever someone says to me, "Oh, our squad is good. It's real good. This, that, and the other." I pose that question, and no one goes. Everyone just tells me, "Oh, I wouldn't get any of them." I was like, "Well,
I got my little boy a Xavi one at
yeah,
Christmas, but I had to choose one, and
yeah,
Xavi was the one because he was new.
yeah." Oh man, but yeah, I mean, just they. Oh yeah, there was no Xavi playing. We bought Xavi for Champions League, didn't we? He.
Yeah, I don't know if Tudor actually likes him.
I
He
don't
has
know.
he's not played him for a couple of games. For
Yeah.
Xavi, I think he tries too hard. But in the Champions League, he looks really good. It's just in the Premier League, he's not looked as good, but he's still settling in. But don't worry, we're getting relegated, and he won't have time to settle into the Premier League because he'll either be
Yeah.
in the Championship with us or be sold in the summer.
Oh my God! So imagine, right? He can't. He needs at least a season to acclimate to the Prem, right? Because
Yeah,
he's not. He's got no physical presence on the ball. He gets bullied off the ball all the time, right? Can you imagine him against Championship players who
I
don't
know.
give up? They're gonna clatter into him. They are gonna clatter into him, and he's gonna put his arms up like he usually does, thinking it should be a foul, and the ref is just gonna be like, play on, man. What are you doing? Get up, get up."
But his physicality reminds me a bit like Modric, but the difference with Modric is he was strong.
Hmm. Well,
And
Modric was doing croquetas for God's sake. He wasn't. Yeah, he was fast though on the ball. He was really fast, and he can do a pinpoint pass with his left foot, with a trivela, or his right foot. You know what I mean? It's just Xavi. Xavi's not. I was told that Xavi would be the next Modric, and I was like,
that's a statement to make. Interesting fact here. Do you know
"Go
who
for it,
Modric is related to?
go for it."
March Viduta.
Really?
I read it in a book. Yeah, apparently it's
Eh.
so they're like second cousins or something.
Oh man, oh man. But yeah, no. So do you? Because I think I saw. I don't know if it was you. Because here's the thing, right? When we lose like that, the Spurs YouTube community explodes, doesn't it? You get like a million videos. So considering what Tudor has, I say accomplished in air quotes, bro, in air quotes, right? Considering what he's accomplished so far, would you keep him?
No, I would have sacked him last night. I'm surprised he's still there, to be honest.
I'm
And
surprised too.
it just goes to show that the people making decisions don't have a clue.
Totally agree, mate.
Do they
I'm
do
I.
they want us to go down or something? There's something clearly is they're making too many. They're making decisions too long. They're waiting too late to make these decisions. And I hate to say this, but if Daniel Levy was in charge, and I don't, he was at fault for a lot of things, Levy.
Mhm.
But I believe if he was still there, we wouldn't be in this situation we are in.
Oh God, no, no, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. As look, Daniel Levy had his faults, and I wanted him out, and I'm glad that he's gone. Um, but we kept Thomas Frank for too long, far, far, far too long, and because the player mentality is in a death spiral now. Because if
Yeah,
the players don't believe, right, they can win games, they're not going to win games, right? They say that ability the when it comes to sport, the ability and the confidence in oneself isn't 50-50. If you're the more confident person, you're pretty much going to come out more on top because you believe in yourself. You're going to take more risks. You're not going to second guess yourself. um or kick the ball out of the pitch like you did, Kolo Muani. Thank you very. Oh my God, that guy. We haven't even spoke about him yet, have we? Oh,
we started off briefly, but then we sort of
yeah. No, we'll leave it for later because I think both of us.
blood pressure if we just spoke about someone else.
Yeah, we'll leave him later. But yeah, I mean, what other player? Because here's the thing: who was playing left wing? Was it? It was Tell, wasn't it? Was playing on left
Yeah,
wing.
yeah.
Who we've played on left wing so many times, and has it worked?
No.
Why hasn't it worked? Because in the January window, we signed Connor Blooming Gallagher instead of a dedicated left winger. They were like, "Yeah, Tell can do it."
We should have signed. Adamola Lookman.
Yes.
And he had the game yesterday. He had the game last night.
Yeah. Lookman's been ripped because obviously I watched La Liga, right? And I was like saying in La Liga, Atleti have been pretty good. They've been pretty good. Because I was speaking to Deathly because he said, "Oh, I think we'll get a result from Atleti," and I'm like, "You sure? You sure?"
Well, he also compared him to Davis Tomaldini, didn't he? So I suppose
Yeah.
don't ever ask any betting tips on definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I need betting tips, it's all good. I'll go ask ChatGPT. I think it's more reliable. Bless him. I'm big up to Deathly, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, so Tell was left out of the Champions League squad. The fans remember the fans were up in arms about it. Why did Frank leave him out the Champions League spot? It's because he's not. He doesn't have the experience.
Well, I've seen glimpses of him that potentially he could be a really good player, but you can tell he's young because he has glimpses and then just obviously fades off and doesn't show it consistently. But to be honest, I think all the winners at the club are useless. I'm not a massive fan of Odegaard. I don't think he's that good either. So
No, he's not.
We need someone can play out there. And when we linked to Semenyo, he was never going to choose Spurs over Man City.
No way, bro. No way. No way. He likes scoring against us too much, man.
Yeah. And it turns out he's an Arsenal fan as well. There's loads of all Arsenal fans, aren't they? All these players who we've tried to sign.
But yeah, no, I look at the end of the day, right? When it comes to look, so if I look at our wingers, right, and we're gonna now talk about Kolo Muani, right? So I watch La Liga and a bit of Bundesliga, right? So my two favorite wingers to watch, and I think are top quality, is Rafinha from Barcelona and Michael Olise from Bayern Munich. Two players, by the way, that we were in for and we tried, right? So if I compare Odegaard and Tell to Rafinha and Olise, there's no comparison, man.
No.
Because it comes down to consistency.
Even Lamine Yamal. So how old is he? Is he same age as Odegaard or something? Similar age, maybe a bit younger. And he's
arguably the best player in world football at the moment, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just can't believe, because I look at these players and I just go, okay, they have flashes. Yeah, because they're so young. They're like 18, 19. Yeah. And I know age isn't a big thing, but it's not even that. If Tell doesn't even get starting preference all season, you know what I mean? He's always been a sub at 75 minutes. Like, that's enough game time. You know what I mean?
Well, I watch a lot of streams. Before I started doing this, I was watching a lot of streams like Sava's one and others.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Tottenham fans. They big up certain players a bit too much, and I'm like, what have they done to get this much praise? And I think we big up our young players way too much, don't we?
Yeah, I no offense. Look, it also comes from not watching other teams like regularly. Like, I follow La Liga. My La Liga team is Barcelona. been following them for a very long time. And and I also like follow Bundesliga. I watch a lot of Dortmund and a lot of Bayern. I don't watch Liga 1 because I just can't be
Yeah,
bothered. I can only watch so much football. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I say to people, I remember it was before the West Ham game, right? It was before the West Ham game, and I said to my friends, I was like, I'm a bit worried about this West Ham game, because we got told it's an easy win, and everyone was like, "No, we'll smoke them." And I was like, "Have you been watching West Ham lately? They're looking a
yeah.
lot more cohesive." "No, I don't watch West Ham. Why would I watch West Ham?" I was like, "Okay, cool. If you don't watch them, that's fine. You're going off vibes, and that's fine." For example, I don't watch the filth. I never watch the filth unless it's in the Champions League, right? And it's always the Champions League knockout stages. I don't watch the much of the league phase because there's too much football with not enough stakes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't watch a lot of filth, and my brother is a filth fan, and I go on what he says. I can't tell you anything about Arsenal's tactics, right? I could probably tell you more about West Ham's because I've seen them more. But I do think it comes from it's I wouldn't say ignorance because I think that's a loaded word. I think it comes from a basic naivety, and also you've got to realize a lot of people back the boys. If you don't back the boys, you're not a real fan. You know that
yeah.
mentality that some people have.
Well, I have to tell you Arsenal's tactics actually. Um, get a corner, Declan Rice whips in the corner, and someone heads it in, which is fine. It's a tactic itself, but that's pretty much their style, to be honest. That most of their goals are from corners.
Do you know what I found out about the filth, which my brother sent to me, right? You know their set piece coach. He
Yeah.
gets a bonus. He gets a bonus, right, for every set piece goal that Arsenal gets. So there's a monetary incentive for them to play like this.
So he's loaded, isn't he?
Yeah, you must be rolling in him, bro. That's why the camera keeps going to him all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, I do think it comes from naivety, and that's fine. Like people always big up players, and that's fine. Shall we talk about Mr. Rolo Colo Moana Nono?
Well, he's an absolute. You can tell his attitude. He just doesn't want to be at the club, and I'm fed up with him. I'd drop him, and I'd rather players that like Richarlison and Solanke that actually give a fuck really, and just don't play Moani for the rest of the season. In my opinion, I don't know about yours.
My opinion is pretty similar. Why are we starting a lone player that we know is not good over our actual squad, like our
Yeah,
non-loan players? That to me, that's the first thing I just don't understand. Injuries, injuries, injuries. Okay, I get it. Injuries, right? Injuries. But watching him play, I didn't watch him play outside of Spurs, right? There's only a couple of players that I can talk about, like Rafinha. I watch him a lot, can comment on him. Yamal, Lewandowski. Lewandowski's getting old, bro. He's got to retire soon.
you can still do it though, can't he?
He can still do it, but he's not the same player. But I can speak about Harry Kane. Harry Kane is on fire this season. I can talk
Yeah.
about I can talk. That's why I was worried about the Dortmund game because Dortmund were. I was worried about that one. But when it comes to Randall Colomowani, I look at him. Horrific first touch. Horrific first touch. Cannot pass. Is not press resistant. The man gets pressed. He loses the ball. Can't finish his dinner. Can't score. Can't whip in across. What can he do? What have you seen that is good from him?
I think at the start of the season he was doing all right in certain games, but as the season's gone on, he's just faded and he just looks like he just can't be bothered anymore. So his whole demeanour and his whole play has just been affected by it, really.
No, I totally agree. I don't. Because he's not a good forward, central forward. He's not a good winger. Why are we playing him? I
But
know.
he cost £98 million at one point.
Oh my God! Imagine if we bought him. We will. Imagine if we bought him. We'd have Ndombele number 2, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
We've literally got another Ndombele.
yeah.
Ooh,
But
shocking,
going
shocking.
when you said earlier about the I forgot to say this earlier when you said about the Champions League thing, like we're fourth in the Champions League, and why we're doing really well in that. But I think you said someone said to you that we're doing really well in that. The teams we've played in the Champions League in the group stage are teams we should be beating anyway. And the one team we did come up against who we shouldn't be beat, to have no right to beat, was PSG, and they battered us really. And then obviously we've come up against another top side and they've battered us as well. So it just proves against the top sides we can't get results against,
Yeah,
can't defend
and
against them.
and this whole narrative. Remember, because I watch streams because I do a lot of coding. I work in IT, right, and I work in AI. So I do a lot of headphones in, and I'm coding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you come across this narrative before? Oh, I love it. Oh, the reason English teams are doing so well in the Champions League is because the level of European football is lower. Look at the results from yesterday and tonight. What English teams beat? What English teams have won? Which ones?
Oh yeah, Man City. I don't know what the story. They were losing. And Arsenal drew. And Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle drew. Spurs lost. Yeah, but yeah, because
Liverpool lost.
Liverpool lost as well, didn't they? Yeah.
So it,
Uh,
it, it, it might be, it might not be that European teams are worse. Maybe they treat the knockout stages with more importance than the league phase.
well, look at PSG last year. PSG finished in the playoffs in the group stage. They weren't looking good at all, and then they still won the Champions League.
Yeah,
And Real
yeah,
Madrid are the same. They're like that, aren't they?
yep. They just scraped through. They scraped through. But yeah, I just love one thing I love. Dr. Tottenham is
And
I love.
Anthony's fine.
Yeah, Anthony's better. Yeah, the one thing I love, Anthony, is football narratives. I love it because 9 times out of 10, it's based on a biased analysis of results-based analysis. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we've beaten these teams. Yeah, but maybe they're not taking it seriously because they know they're going to get through anyway. Maybe it's more deeper than just Spurs are good in Europe. Oh, another one, remember? Spurs are better away. Remember that one? Spurs are
That,
so good away.
that's gone out the window now, isn't it?
Oh,
But the
God.
thing is, a lot of these teams, like we've probably played our hardest against a lot of these teams, like to our higher standards, and they like the PSGs and not even they've not even played at top level and still beating us.
Exactly, exactly. And at the end of the day, I know this is horrible, and I look as I know this is facts and opinions and naivety. You back the team and all of that, and all of the board and all of that. All of that needs to be put aside and just accept the reality. Spurs
Yeah,
are shit.
yeah, we
We are
are.
just shit. I know it's hard to admit. It sucks, but we are shit. We are absolute dog shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So you carry on what you're saying?
no, I was about to say is that what? So you agree, right?
No, actually, we're shit really. I've spoken to my dad about it, and he said we're going down. He thinks we're going down. I think we're going down as well. And we also the joke of every other fan and stuff. I see a video on online of Lincoln fans who are top of League One at the moment, singing Tottenham away or LA or something
Yeah,
for like next season and stuff. And we're the brunt of everyone's jokes, and we're like we're just so bad. These players are an absolute disgrace, and in my lifetime, it's probably the worst team I've ever seen. Because back in the '90s, where we were, we were crap. At least we had a couple of players, a couple of individuals that we could rely on, but we can't rely on any of
Yep.
this lot.
Like for me, right, I always said, and we'll get back into it because to me, I'm not even getting bantered anymore. I'm just getting pity. My
Yeah,
mum during the game, who hates football, my mum called me up and went, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, mum, how's it going?" I saw the score. You should sack them all. Who doesn't even care about football?
yeah, yeah,
She doesn't even care. But no, I always said the worst squad before this squad in my lifetime was that 93-94 season. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
horrific. You know, when we had Razor Ruddock,
Was that the Jason Cundy team? Was that when he was in playing for
I
us?
think it was. Yeah, yeah, I think it was. But we are worse than that. And we finished 14th that season.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? This is horrific. Because I've got Charlton fans. They're all over the place because I live. So in the part of London that I live in, right, I've got Selhurst Park, I've got the Den, I've got the Valley, I've got
yeah.
Craven Cottage, all within about 30-minute walk or 30-minute bus ride, right? So got a lot of like local teams. The Charlton fans are like, we're looking forward to seeing you at the Valley. Because here's another thing. Before our Atletico game, I went to a load of West Ham mates, right, to see their game against Fulham because they're just friends of mine, right? When they won that game, my mate poured beer over my head and was like, "Yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for you." I'm like, "Oh my God. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go."
Yeah. So like next manager and stuff. If we do get another manager, who are you taking? You reckon?
Get Chirpy. Get Chirpy to manage us. It can't be any worse than this, can it? Like I'm not part of me is being facetious as a joke, right? But I just don't know. I honestly don't know, bro.
I
Because
think it's
people are saying, go on.
Sean Dyche time. I don't like Sean Dyche, but in this moment in time, I think we need someone like that in.
Yeah. That or Big Sam. You know, the usual suspects, in it. Big Sam, Sean Allardyce. Oh, it's just so bad, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like it's so bad that I can't see a way out, man. I can't see a way out.
No.
We completely screwed. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, Ten Hag.
Don't say we get Ten Hag. Oh, that'd be an absolute disgrace if we get Ten Hag. That'd be absolute shocking if we get Ten Hag.
Oh my God. Oh my
Please,
God.
the world's greatest. Please tell me you're messing about, mate.
Yeah, yeah. Please. Can't take that because we. I think that would be the final nail in the coffin for me. It's like that would be this is the worst banter era Spurs have ever been in. This is just horrific. But yeah,
Yeah,
because we completely effed up. Because I'm trying to get into the what do you call it? I'm trying to get into like a way of not swearing so much on stream because I do swear a lot in real life as well. But because we effed up our transfer window in January so badly, I just can't see. I just can't see it, man.
I know. I know. How can a board not sign one player is absolute disgrace. I mean, Lange, he needs to be sacked. It's not a coincidence that Villa are doing a lot better without him. And it's the same with Vinay. Arsenal are doing so much better without him. What are these clowns doing at the club? They have no idea what they're doing. They're clueless and they need to go.
Do you want me to give you some background information on Vinay Venkatesan?
Yeah,
Right.
no.
So right. So when he joined Spurs, I did a massive deep dive on this guy, right? Because I for some reason I knew about this guy, right? So we're gonna list some of the things that he kind of effed up. He was involved in the London 2012 Olympics, right? To a point
Yeah,
where stadiums were just built like with it just in time, right? They had to repurpose Greenwich Park because they didn't have an equestrian court to do the horse riding stuff. They had to repurpose Greenwich Park, right? While
yeah,
he was at Arsenal, and this is all news, while he was at Arsenal, right, he signed fraudulent contracts by a fake Chinese company in a fake office, right, smiling while he's signing it in a complete fake office for a Chinese car company sponsorship of Arsenal, right?
bloody
This
hell.
guy is useless. I've been telling people like he's useless because people just honestly, and I'm not like one of these guys that's in the know. I just did my research on him because I was like, I know this guy. I know this guy.
Yeah,
He's incompetent, absolutely incompetent.
yeah, it's an absolute. I mean, apparently Arsenal fans. Um, I heard on another stream, Arsenal fans were saying about he they weren't sorry to see him go and stuff,
No,
um, and look at them now, and same with Villa with Lange. A lot of them were saying, oh, they're not sad to see him go, and look at them now. So it just goes to show they're just useless. And I've
yeah,
also hearing that we're looking to go down the route of two director of footballs and keep Lange there. It clearly doesn't work, so I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I can't
Um,
believe how Langer's failed upwards, mate. I cannot believe he is a director of football. I just cannot. That to me is just look because I work in a corporate environment, but I do like external contracts, right? He reminds me of that. Lange reminds me of that manager that you work with, right? Who is absolutely useless, right? But because he hits his baseline targets, right? Hits his baseline
yeah,
targets, which is set up by his boss. Every 2 years, he just gets automatically promoted. And he's been at the company for some reason, he's been at the company for 6 years, and now he's a head of department. And you're just like, how has this happened?
yeah, yeah. Well, if he hits the base, are you about Lange?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, if he hits the base targets, then he's perfect for Spurs, isn't he? Really?
yes.
But yeah, but no, it's a whole shit show at Spurs. Really, it's not looking good. I'm really worried, and I got a feeling if we go down, we won't come back up again. There is a comment
We
here.
won't.
Bring this up. Lange's piping the owners 100% might end up costing Spurs £250 million. Yep, I totally agree with that. The world's greatest. Yeah, because if we go down, or think about all that TV money and stuff, and
Oh,
European money.
the financial implications is absolutely catastrophic. There's a business. There's a great podcast that just does business, right? And they were discussing the fact because obviously when it comes to risk assessment, you've got your known knowns, which you know is going to happen. You've got your unknown knowns, which you don't know for a fact is going to happen, but most probably will. And then you've got the unknown unknowns, which you have no idea of, right? So it's very business structured. If I'm going to summarize it, they had a discussion for over an hour, and at the end of it, the words catastrophic was
Yeah,
used. So, and it's because here's what people don't realize: the stewards, the barmaids, right? The
yeah,
the the non-footballing staff, like the admin, they don't have relegation clauses. They don't have relegation clauses. So you
yeah,
can say, "Oh, we'll save money by not." You've still got to pay all of the money for all of the operational and admin costs and all of that. Like,
yeah,
I just think I just think for an argument to say, oh, if we go down, the owners will actually act. This is no, it's not. It's not. It's going to be catastrophic, mate.
Well, look, I mean, Spurs have so much. We have so much potential at Spurs. Um, like with the training ground, with the stadium, with all the facilities. I'm not saying this because I'm a Spurs fan, but we could be huge and we could be competing with the likes of Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool and all that for the titles and stuff. I honestly believe that, but with Enoch in charge, that's never going to happen. And I've always said that I wouldn't, with the Saudi money, I'd never want to take Saudi money. But I'm so desperate for Enoch to leave that I'll just, I won't care about the Saudi money coming in or the Qatar money coming in, just to get Enoch out of the club because there is so much potential at Spurs. I don't know what you think, but yeah, I just think it don't matter
But
who's in charge. Just Enoch has just got to get out. It's just not working.
yeah, I mean, the Spurs have always been called the best team that never could, right?
Yeah,
Or sorry, the best club that never could. I mean, when it comes to chasing the Premier League title, we've nearly done it in the Premier League. Again, when people say to me, "Oh, you're entitled as a Spurs fan," I'm like, "Okay, in the last 20 years, we've only been outside the top eight twice. Don't tell me I'm entitled, right? Do
yeah.
not tell me I'm entitled, right?" And here's the thing: we could talk hours on hours about why this has happened. And you're right, it comes from a board level. We can talk about the wage structure, we can talk about the idea of sacking managers or hiring managers or not instilling the right culture at Spurs and Daniel Levy this and Daniel Levy that. I think when it comes to the owners, it's nice and romantic to say, and I went through the Alan Sugar days, right? So, this ain't my first I want my owners out rodeo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember the protests against Alan Sugar as well. Um, but here's the thing: would you rather have Saudi money and stay in the Premier League and competing for titles and cups? Remember, we used to be a good cup team once upon a time.
Mm.
Um, would you rather that, or would you rather keep it English, born and bred and owned, and playing in League One?
Well, the thing is, English don't win anything, do they? So it's the foreign money that comes in. It's the only way we're ever going to win anything. I think.
Well, I
Um,
mean,
is we're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and I mean the that whole slogan of ours, "To dare is to do." That's all put all over the place. Um, I hear it's at the training ground, and obviously it's at the stadium. Is a joke because since the owners come in, we don't dare, we don't do. Um, Jason
it,
Cundy always says on Talk Sport that we dare we to dare and to do nothing, and he's got that
yeah,
spot on. But we don't dare and we don't do. So that's an absolute disgrace. If you're gonna
I
if you're
say it a little bit.
gonna
I
at
s-
least do and
yeah.
dare a bit and take some chances, but we just don't do that.
Yeah, I have a more explicit version, which is to dare us to do fuck all.
Yeah,
Because just look, right? We that transfer. Look, I because I do rival panel shows and I speak to rivals. Man United, Man United, the filth, Man City, Chelsea fans, right? Liverpool fans, they all say exactly the same thing. Spurs have never shown intent in the transfer window to get the good enough players to compete. There's the difference. Man United, they finished in a similar situation as us than last season, but they lost a trophy, right? What happened with them? In Buemo, Cunha, they went to the transfer market and did their business, right?
yeah.
What
But the
did
thing
we
is,
do?
the thing about those type of players, it don't matter how bad United are, they still have that. They still have that appeal and pulling power because of how big the club is.
But yeah, it's just, I understand that there is a football hierarchy, Sorry, I've been talking a lot, doing a lot of training videos.
Well,
Um,
we could finish. Man United could finish 17th, and we could finish in the top 4, and United could still beat us to certain players.
yeah. Well, they're offering the wages as well. It comes back. It's also
Yeah,
wages as well. And I just I could also talk about our academy as well because I've got godkids that play football. One is actually in an academy, yeah. So I talk to football parents, yeah. If you
yeah.
ask any of the football parents, right, if you are offered, if your kid was offered an academy place at Tottenham or Charlton, which one you picking?
You picked
90%
Charlton.
of them will say Charlton.
There's a path at these lower clubs. There's a pathway. You can start off these academies and end up, and when you become professional, end up getting picked up by bigger clubs. But if you start at Tottenham, it's not just at Tottenham, at any Premier League club really. If you start at any Premier League club, your chances are you'll go out the game completely.
Yeah, but if like I don't know if you have kids or have like family of little kids.
I've got 2 kids. I've got a
Oh,
boy
nice
that
one.
yeah.
All right, so here we go. I'm being bluntly honest with you, right? Put your feelings aside. Yeah. If one of them plays football, right, and they're looking for academy and they've been scouted to go to an academy, right? The choices are, right? Choices are Fulham or Tottenham. Which one would you pick? Which one would you prefer?
I'll probably pick Fulham because as much as I love Tottenham, I just don't think Tottenham will be the good environment for him.
You just answered the question, bro.
Yeah.
That's this is what I like to do because what I like to do is actually pin people's opinions down with real world questions because I think it shows a lot. Like for example, I would never want my godkids to ever like sign for Tottenham. Not right now. Not in the way it's run. I mean, yeah, they've got great facilities, yada, but Tottenham squad don't even pick the youth anymore, bro.
Would you let them play for Arsenal?
Ooh, ooh, it would sting a bit. It would sting. It would sting. But then again, if they go to Arsenal, at least they're getting paid more. I get better.
Yeah.
I get better Christmas presents, bro. They might buy me a car instead of if they play for top.
When they're older, and they're playing for Arsenal and they're playing away from home at Tottenham Stadium, and they see you in the crowd and then they score and they go up to you and they're like,
Yeah, exactly. But all of that's fine because they'll buy me a car for Christmas instead of like socks. So I'm good, bro.
yeah.
But no, these are the serious questions that I think a lot of people on streams don't ask. Like, if you think the team is so good, would you get Kolo Muani put on the back of your shirt? No. Well, he ain't good enough, then, is he? You know,
No.
would you want your kids to go to the Tottenham Academy? No. Well, then the academy is not good, then, is it? In your eyes, you know what I mean? So it's just, I just love it. I love it. I mean, talking about Tottenham, Jesus, I couldn't be like some people and do it every day. Oh my God, I think I'd go insane.
So you don't so you tend to go on other streams rather than do your own stuff.
Yeah. So I'll give you the spiel and to the chat as well, right? So I had a season ticket for a very, very, very long time, right? So I considered myself a match going fan. And then people wanted my opinion because a lot of people don't live in London. Lots of people, they're not Spurs fans, so they don't know. So I went on a lot of streams, like rival panels and other people's streams. So I gave a match going perspective, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I then get invited to other ones, and then I jump onto other ones, and yeah, and also because my home internet, as I told you, my home internet is crap for streaming. Like it's really bad for streaming. But I can still pop on other people's streams and video uploads. Man, I have to use Handbrake to compress videos at the moment. But no, I like coming on. I love coming on other people's streams because I usually bring some people over and I always promote streams that I go on. Like I promoted yours and I'll continue to promote yours as well. And I really appreciate coming on.
The promotion obviously clearly never worked, did it?
Well, you've got one sub, bro. Come on. And
Yeah.
also, you've got to realise it is a day that it's a Champions League day, right? So a lot of my friends are watching the game as well. So
I've also noticed um, the Cookie and the Sheriff shows going on at the same time and stuff. So as
yeah,
time goes, I'll tell you about it in the chat when we go offline in a minute and stuff. But that's probably going to call it a day that evening there at the moment.
all good, bro.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for the 2 people that's in the chat been watching the whole time on and off.
Big up chat, man. Appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for you,
if anyone else wants to come on sometime and have your say, then you're more than welcome. I was hoping Definitely was going to come on. I did tell him earlier, and he said he'd try, but obviously I don't know what's happened to him. But we'll get him on another time. It's fine.
it's all good. It's all good. I always like his perspective. And it's
Yeah,
funny. It was funny because people think we're the same age, and I'm like, no, I'm old enough to be your dad, bro.
I know, yeah.
Because he was like, wait, how old are you? I was like, I'm 42 years old. He was like, no way, bro. I was like, yeah, because I don't have a beard, man. I shaved it off.
I know. But anyway, I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you in the chat for a minute anyway. But thanks for coming on, and speak to you soon. And all I have to say is, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.